Good morning. A couple things. Shout out to everyone already joined me in the chat. Who we got in here? The dog, you making our appearance. I see you. Ooh, excuse me. It's a bit early for a live stream, but this is necessary, you understand. Mark Little, I see you. West Palm, one of my favorite spots. Who else we got? Little dog in here. Quick with the questions. I see you. Who we got? Spike is cute. Good morning. Listen, a couple things I wanted to share with the people. And we'll get to a couple of questions. We're not going to be here too long. Got PT in about an hour. So, with great intentions comes quite a bit of disappointment. Morning, Ian. Last night I posted a poll asking if people wanted to go live last night or edit a vlog for this morning, and neither one of them happened. So I was like, you know what, give the people something to eat off of, something. So, I said, well, let's go live this morning right before PT. It's 5:24 a.m. here. Hope you guys enjoyed the new intro to the live streams. A couple bugs to work out, but of course, this is the first debut. So, of course, most things go wrong on your wedding day. And so we'll address that later. But anyway, a couple things I wanted to talk about real quick. I haven't really kept up with the NBA series in terms of just giving my opinions and my perspectives, but the Bucks and the Suns debut tonight, NBA Finals. I'm not too disappointed with this series going forward. I'm happy that the Bucks have finally made it. I could care less whether or not Chris Paul gets his or not. Chris Paul is just he's a polarizing figure. I've always been kind of rooting for Giannis. Giannis reminds me so much of Kobe and Russ. Just his mentality, his fearlessness, his aggressiveness. Love it. Unfortunately, he's injured, so we'll see how that goes. But very interesting series moving forward. Very good matchup. You have the old school style Suns with their matchups. Big man, two guard, and pass first point guard. It's kind of outdated, but it works. It works. So we'll see, especially a 36-year-old point guard, with the point guard position being so stacked. It's different. Did I do an audio check? Anyway, so yeah, I'm very intrigued by how they should move forward. So, yeah, my prediction, I see it going about either 6 games or 7 games. If Giannis comes back, I probably see him come back like game 3, something like that. He probably missed the first 2 games. If the Bucks are able to squeeze out one of those, just hold down the fort until Giannis can get back. Get 2 of those games, possibly, which I doubt that happened, but one of those games will be kind of expected. It'll be a great series. And then I'll probably see Giannis coming back game 3 and then, make it interesting. So yeah, I want the Bucks to win. I want the Bucks to win. Giannis gets all this praise during the regular season and gets no love during the postseason, mainly because of his performance. Well, he did it this year. He made noise. And so hopefully he can continue this, throughout the postseason and get his ring, get that monkey off your back, and then people can focus on other parts of your game instead of just the fact that you don't show up in the playoffs. But that's interesting. Something I've been kind of monitoring from a distance. I don't watch full games. I watch highlights on Instagram, kind of like most people. I don't think anybody's sitting down and watch a 2-3 hour game unless you're an analyst. But yeah, love some NBA. Love that the LeBron's not in the conversation this year. Thank goodness. You just get tired of hearing LeBron crying about something. He's at his son's basketball game, stopping the game mid-game to complain about something. I'm like, bro, oh my goodness. Do you need to be in the spotlight constantly? Like, wow, bro. Like, get somewhere and sit down. But of course, it's not up to me. It can't be. It can't be. So we move on. What else we got? Houston's road trip. Went to Houston this weekend. Hope everybody had a good 4th of July weekend. I definitely did. One of the major reasons why I chose Cannon instead of staying in Alaska was the ability to road trip. You can drive 12 hours As long as you can drive endlessly and still be in Alaska. You can take off from Eielson, Anchorage, doesn't matter. Pick a direction and you can just drive until you're out of gas and you will still be in the state of Alaska. It's unacceptable how big that state is. A lot of people don't know Alaska is the largest state by landmass or by volume in the Union. It's gargantuan. It's unacceptably so. And so coming down here to New Mexico, living 10 miles from the Texas border, I could drive to any city. I could hop on a flight. It's 100. I was checking flights the other day. It's $165 to Denver from here. I could be in a major city for $165. And like the prices do not fluctuate because that's a main hub out of Clovis. So I guess contractually that's what they have set up. And so I'm like, bro, I'm out of here. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. I'll be in Denver probably next weekend. Like honestly, so that's encouraging. But yeah, just being able to drive to Houston. My only goal in Houston was to see the ocean, not get in it, not touch it, not sit next to it, not walk on it. I want to see the ocean and then go back to Mexico. That's pretty much all I did, with the exception of going to Alphalete. You know, that's where I work out when I go to Houston. Like shout out to the YouTubers that provide me inspiration every single day. I watch so much YouTube, it's ridiculous. That's all I watch. I don't watch cable. I'm slowly buying the Office series on YouTube just so I can have that. You know, I'm not streaming it anymore. Obviously, they took it down from Netflix, and I'm like, bro, why would you betray me in this manner? Did you not know I fall asleep to that every single night? And so I'm in the process of buying every season. I usually buy one every paycheck. You know, just it's $20. So yeah, definitely enjoy Houston. Definitely enjoy the atmosphere. Every time I see the state of, or the city rather, of Houston, it reminds me of all of Christian Guzman's videos. That I used to watch the Summer Shredding series every single year. My favorite year was 2016. Just watching that series over and over again. You know, that's part of his branding. He did an amazing job of just branding himself so well that whenever I think of Houston, whenever I think of Sugarland or, you know, parts of LA, I think of his videos. And so that's kind of my goal, you know, in terms of being that impactful. When people think of the Air Force, when people think of, you know, certain editing styles, certain music styles, certain genres, they think of this channel. So that's all part of branding, but yeah, definitely enjoyed Houston. One of my favorite cities, top 5 easily, top 5 cities in America that I just absolutely love. I'm trying to get back to New York City at some point. I love New York City. DMV as a whole, Miami, traveling's back. Thank God. You know, it was so encouraging to just see people walking around with no mask on. Like, despite, you know, not being completely 1000% out the woods, I enjoy seeing anything that resembles normality because I know a lot of us missed it. And so there's that. July 1st, my cross-train window opened. A lot of people have questions about how that process goes and how smooth is it? How long does it take? Okay, so this is my first time cross-training, so I don't have all the details. Obviously, I'm discovering as I go. So far, nothing has changed. I mean, it's been a couple of days. Well, today I'll be pushing the button on my medical clearance, just getting that started, getting that out the way, because the jobs that are currently listed on what's called an advisory list, excuse me, goodness, it's essentially a list of available jobs, and it tells you literally, currently to the day, you're able to refresh it on the spot, and it tells you right now, these are the jobs that we need people in. And these are the jobs that you're able to cross-train into right now. And not every job is cross-trainable into. Like, you can't just cross-train into any job just because it exists. It has to be openings for it. And then you have to be in the right, either first-term airman or staff sergeant or prior service, whatever. There's different stipulations that allow or disqualify you to cross-train in certain career fields at certain times. Well, I'm in my window now. I have 6 months to complete the process or at least get it started and kind of be close to finishing it. And so, yeah, that was July 1st. And so it being July 6th today, I believe. That's what we're embarking on. And so, yeah, I'll be starting my medical clearance today. Obviously, I got to pass the PT test to even cross train. I have to pass my PT test within 30 days of getting class dates, either before or after. So that'll be happening this month. So obviously, we're taking care of business. We got a 5K this morning for PT, so that'll be interesting. But yeah, Once I get more details, once I get more into the process, I'll be able to shed more light on it. But essentially, that's probably the main piece. Is your ability to cross train is going to be based on your ASVAB scores. It's going to be based on your MEPS qualification. So a lot of things that we like to kind of gloss over and try to get past very quickly, those same things come back to get you. That's why like a lot of people just kind of rush through the MEPS process, not really giving it a lot of time and effort. Well, you're going to see that again if you try to cross train. Like those scores still matter. They do expire at some point, so you may have to take it again. But yeah, that's what they're going to base your cross trainability off of, is your MEPS and your ASVAB score. So also your past performance in your last career field. You can't just be a dusty airman your entire career and then all of a sudden now you can cross train and they're just going to overlook all the LORs, all the Article 15s, Article 92s, and like, no, all that stuff stays with you. And so it's imperative that you seek wisdom and you move forward, gracefully and with mercy and with tact, if you will. So yeah, that's the recruiting process. What else we got? Let me get to a couple of questions in the chat. Well, we only got one, but there was a couple questions I did want to tackle. I saw a comment that was quite long in length, and I wasn't about to type back to it. It's by Ward Thunder. And he commented on my maturity is continuous pursuit of your needs. Maturity is the continuous pursuit of your needs over your wants. And so we'll go over this real quick just to see what we got. And it reads thusly. Raymond, I think you are the right person for me to ask some advice. Interesting. Why do you perceive that to be so? I'm at a Y in my life, which I believe just a crossroads in my life. And I can choose two different paths that are mutually exclusive. I am a very unique person. As aren't we all? Aren't we all quite unique and different, if you will? I love the idea of serving those next to me as part of a team and putting in hard work and sacrificing for those around me to bring satisfaction. I am prior law enforcement, and I was very successful at that. And I am now moved on from that, and I have started my own family farm on ancestral lands. Interesting. I've put in a great deal of effort and work to get out of here and be only accountable to myself and my wife. I was drawn to marijuana, and I am at the point of no return in regards to my farm and my licensing and my business. If I go one step further, I may never serve my country again. That hits deep and hard for me. I once heard you, this is so deep. I once heard you say, once you get out of the Air Force, that you want to be working in that unconventional way, and that you will do what you desire. And yeah, definitely. I don't plan to work for anybody else once I get out of the military. But yeah, we'll cover that later. I want them both, he says. I myself have a hard time seeing a world that I'm not a military member serving my country, and I'm not a marijuana farmer. It's an oddity, and no trails have been blazed for me. What's worse, the state I'm in what's worse is I'm in mercy of God. What's worse, the state I'm in while accepting to small business now, oh my goodness. The station in future will be coming who is to say is a good, inherently full risk. I am a little later in life and I don't have much retirement and I can't afford to go back to college on my own. I don't know what to do. God bless Raymond. I hope maybe you can give me some advice. All right. Goodness, that was a mouthful. Apologize for that read. That was more or less either badly written or badly read. I'll probably the latter. So what I gather from that is that he started a marijuana farm in New Mexico as of late, in recent news, current events. Marijuana is now legal in the state of New Mexico, which of course Cannon hopped on it very quickly and said, bruh, just because it's legal here in the state for civilians, let me catch y'all military folk hopping on this. We gonna hand you an L. So just for federal workers, just make sure, if you're a military civilian, stay away from that junk, man. Don't take no L's. But so essentially he says that he's a farmer, started a marijuana farm, and he has to choose between federal work or working for the U.S., work for the government, or pursuing this marijuana farm. And of course you have to choose one. You can't do both. And so One thing I always say is, especially when, as it relates to two opposing options, which option gives me more options? Which option gives me more options? Which option creates more options? A lot of times we choose something that corners us, and it just limits us the rest of our life. I'm gonna go into work for the cartel. I feel like that's a just a great career path, and I feel like there's opportunity there. Well, some mistakes, some bad decisions are immediately fatal. Some options just remove options. You know, they only breed regret. You do not benefit from that decision. That's where wisdom comes in. Marijuana, from where I sit, it seems to be. It, one thing I've noticed is that if you tell somebody they can't do something, they want to do it all the more. The second you make it legal, the second you make something acceptable, allowable, it tends to trend downwards. It's like some people still love it, some people pursue it for whatever reasons. Obviously, you have Sha'Carri Richardson in the news as far as her pursuing of reefer and how it conflicted with her Olympic goals. Some things you can't have both. That's real life. It's unfortunate. A lot of us want everything. Your life is proven to you. You can't have it all. You can't have both. You can't have federal work and reefer sales. Reefer growth, distribution. You can't have both. It's unfortunate, but it's the world we live in. There's certain things in the military that I just cannot do. Certain things I cannot talk about on here. As much as I would love to address certain topics on this YouTube channel, because people know I'm military, I can't talk about it. I can't hint to it. Certain things I just cannot. I'm limited. I made a video on, do we have freedom or is it liberty? In most cases, we can pause at the fact and the reality of that we have liberties. There's no perfect answer for your question in regards to which one should you choose. Your end goal should determine whether or not you choose something. Your end goal should be reverse engineering to daily hourly steps. So in regards to you not having a lot of retirement left, what should you pursue? You have a family? You have a wife? All right. So do you want children in the future? No matter what you choose, it's a risk. No matter what you choose, it's a risk. Perfect example in my own life, me trying to cross train into Loadmaster. This is a job where I will have no predictability of schedule. Zero. You're a Loadmaster, you go where the plane goes, where the needs go. Like I become mission essential by taking on the Loadmaster position, where right now, I'm not. I work 7:30 to 4:30, Monday through Friday, holidays off, weekends off, And so right now I have a lot more flexibility in my schedule. If I have an appointment during the day, I have an appointment. I gotta go. If I'm attached to an aircraft and they say, yo, this plane has to go, right now, you got 24 hours, pack a bag, let go. I go with the plane. And that's what you're signing up for. You're making concessions. It's barter system. It's the exchange of value. And there will constantly be, sacrifices need to be made. That's something that you have to discuss with your wife, Now, to kind of bring it backwards slightly, would I go into business in regards to reefer in 2021? It's different. It's different because you have a family. The amount of risks that you would like to take, the most risk taking that you should ever pursue should be happening probably in your 20s, when you have time, when you have flexibility. Once you take on another person in your life, it's not the time to take all the risk in the world. I'm not saying you should take no risk, but one thing you should consider is the fact that you need stability when you have a family. I'm not saying you should be completely stable, taking no risks. I'm taking a risk right now, doing YouTube outside of the military. No, I'm trying to do both. That's why I have to get up very early to do both. It's possible to do both, but there's certain things obviously that conflict each other. You can't do both marijuana and federal government. Do you need peace in your family? Do you need predictability? Do you need retirement? Do you need a 401k? Or do you want the opportunity to hit it big, in farming, agriculture? That's a question that you need to, your goals determine that. Your goals determine that. Your age determines that, relative to how long it will take you to be successful in a given career field. Can you be 60, 70 years old, still trying to get a farm off the ground? What region of the country are you in? the predictability of the land, the region. There are a lot of variables to consider here. Wisdom tells me, again, this is just me, if I had a wife, if I was formerly a police officer, if I had little to no retirement saved up, what would I choose? Federal government or working on a farm? I personally, and again, it's not an easy answer because again, I don't have much experience in the agricultural world. I never worked on a farm, never wanted to. I'm not a huge fan of manual labor, John Deere or otherwise. I'm not a huge fan of working out in the heat, doing anything. But I personally would probably choose the federal government because I have a family and you can't account for everything. One thing we couldn't account for was COVID. No one could have saw that coming. Unless, I'm not gonna say that, like get into conspiracy theories. But no, there's certain things you can't account for. And when it comes to my family, the number one thing I value personally is peace. And I've really had to come to terms with that as far as I can be the most ambitious person in the world, but if I value peace above all, I'm probably not taking the most risks, in regards to people around me and like people who are actually ambitious and don't care about stability. They care about results. They care about, the opportunity to hit it big, the opportunity to have huge returns. I'm not the most ambitious person in the world when it comes to that area of my life. I value peace, and predictability brings peace. If you have a guaranteed hours at Walmart, you're getting 40 hours a week, you can kind of build around that. If you have a contract with the government, you can kind of build around that, knowing how long that contract lasts. But if you work sales, commissions, and you eat what you kill, you only take home with what you sell. That's a different mindset. That's a different type of person who enjoys that type of work where every day is my family doesn't eat unless I sell something. That's a different mentality. And so some people are built like that. It sounds as if like you value stability. Everything you mentioned sounds like you should value stability over risk. I'm not telling you to choose the federal government. I'm just saying one choice removes options from you. How lucrative do you think that really is? I've heard my mom say before that the right decision usually comes with peace. The right decision that you should make usually comes with peace. It's not an easy decision to make as far as something you might want to pursue, something you might have a passion for. But yeah, it's not something that you're guaranteed outcomes with. The federal government, same thing. You could live a boring life the rest of your life working very predictable hours, but does your family eat? I don't know. So that's a question that you and your wife should definitely talk about in depth. You and your wife, what do you guys truly value? What are you guys' goals? How are you guys going to address your retirement? That's something that you and your wife, your family has to address with wisdom. Predictions, really planning, putting pen and paper. How much money do you really need to retire? What age do you plan on retirement? Do you have any ailments? Do you have any health issues? Wisdom, looking down the road. You might be passionate about something, but if you can't afford it, if you have to go under financially, should you choose that? That's just my opinion. So great question. Who we got in the chat? R Blaze with a super chat. Appreciate you, bro. My boy just wanted to show you some love. Stay safe, stay blessed. Hey, much appreciated. Much appreciated. Appreciate the support, man. You always show love, bro. Little doggy had a question. Talk more about the nobody cares about you thing, but the good sides too. So a while back, quite a bit, I believe it was in 2018 or so, I made a video concerning nobody cares about you. And then later on, I believe when I was in Alaska, I made a follow-up video to it, basically expressing nobody cares about you, but there are exceptions, which don't disprove the rule. But there tend to be exceptions in regards to kindness. When I pursue a relationship, and relationship being anything having to do with another human being, your internal relationship, because it's a bartering system. It's the exchange of value. You're exchanging what you have for what they have at any given moment. You talk to a human being, you're exchanging value. Right now, we're exchanging value. Questions, answers, exchange of value. Perspective, exchange of value. You get the point. So when I enter a relationship, contractually or personally, professionally, I have to understand the potential of human beings. The potential. I don't like being surprised. And this is the part that separates me from a lot of people. I don't like being surprised by betrayal. I hate it. I hate it. It happened recently here at Canon where I went into something thinking a certain way and I came out on the other side realizing you knew better and you tried to think a certain way. You tried to think opposite of the way you typically think and it backfired on you. I try to give people the benefit. I try to see the good in people. And like, bro, you know that's not human nature. Human nature is not to be good to people, to random strangers. It's not what happens normally. Science tells us what occurs normally. Miracles do not defy science. Miracles are outside of science. That's how we're able to recognize them. We would not recognize a miracle if it looked like science. So when it comes to human nature, I don't like to call everyone evil or call everyone out to get me, but I have to stop and pause at the potential for everyone to be on true crime, to be on CNN, to be the next big criminal to do something. Because humans all have the potential to choose the wrong decision. It's called free will. A lot of us don't think we have free will. Cool. I've debated that so many times. Do you look both ways before you cross the street? Is it really fate, or are you actually choosing what you decide to do? Am I choosing to go live, or was I always destined to go live? Was this a choice this morning to wake up at a certain time? Did I set my alarm clock at a certain time by choice, or was I destined? Was it fate that told me set your alarm clock at this time and get up at this time and wear this color and take a shower this morning? What was that choice? Instincts? Was my subconscious programmed to do so? No, it's free will. It's free will. I'm narrating my life, but I'm also subconsciously reacting to my environment and to my past. And I still have a choice because when I get angry, I have a choice whether or not I respond in anger. Do I just react emotionally, or do I respond with the right decision? So, do people fundamentally or by default, do they care about you as a human? I would argue no. I would argue no. If you look for evidence that people just randomly care about you, there doesn't appear to be a lot of evidence for this. Now, what you will find occasionally, is kindness. Kindness is water flowing uphill. It does not happen without someone choosing to do so. It's whenever you see kindness, it's always a choice. Whenever you observe, whenever you experience someone being kind, it is always a choice. It's never naturally occurring. It's a human mind choosing to be kind. So you also mentioned the good sides. I'm not sure what you mean exactly. I do kind of know what you mean. So when I mention kindness, when I say nobody cares about you, the point of that statement is to program you to what humans are capable of, both good and bad. Both good and bad. I previously mentioned how I don't like being surprised by betrayal. I'd rather be surprised by kindness. That should be your default mode, is I'm surprised by your kindness. I go through life expecting people to be dangerous. I expect people to lie. I expect people to steal when given an opportunity. I expect people to make the wrong decision when given an opportunity. I expect people to be emotional. I expect people to seek pleasure in a given moment. I expect people to pursue what they want over what they need. You expect that. And occasionally, people will show you kindness. Occasionally. And when I go through my life, I'm surprised by kindness more often than betrayal because I expect betrayal. When you expect something and it comes, you're like, yeah, I knew. At some point, I knew you would try to lie on me. At some point, I knew that you would choose your own interests above mine. That's normal. That's what occurs normally, man. But it's when it's flipped and you see the good in everyone and you expect everyone to be kind to you and you expect everybody to be nice and everybody to have your back and everybody to have your interests at heart. And then they betray you and you're surprised. All of a sudden, your heart's broken. There's a quote, your heart's never been broken. It's only been your expectations that have been broken. We put expectations on people that are not matching reality. You know, you're just bound for disappointment every time you put good expectations on people. Humans, by default, are selfish. Another word for selfish could be survival. We choose our own interests above everyone else's. I'm sure most of you watching have driven past a homeless person and barely flinched. Is that normal? Does that make you wrong? Does that make you evil to drive past or walk past a homeless person without even thinking twice? I'm sure your worldview would define that, but we have to pause at the fact that humans have a nature that is quite predictable. When left alone, when you observe somebody who thinks that nobody's watching, what do they choose? What do they choose? You're a slave to whatever you have to lie about, whatever you have to hide. You're a slave to that. And if most of us were completely honest, there's part of us that no one ever sees, including myself. Including myself. A lot of people who meet me in person outside of YouTube, they realize I'm a lot more goofier, a lot different than I am on here. It was 5:24 when we started the stream. I can't be the same person at 5 a.m. that I am in the regular person. At 1 p.m. or whatever, the regular world, whatever. I'm different. There's different sides of me everyone has that layer they peel off in certain environments. We're all chameleons at some level. Some people turn into introverts, some people become extroverts in certain environments. It's different. Alcohol enters your bloodstream, and all of a sudden you see a different side of a person you never thought existed. That's normal. That's normal. So, I stand by my statement. Nobody cares about you, with the exception of those who show kindness. And kindness is not a frequent experience. It should be rare. That's what gives it value. Hope that answers your question. But yeah, it's a very interesting conversation. But yeah, I like to be surprised by kindness rather than betrayal. It's just a better way to live. What else we got? What in the World asks, with the withdrawal from Afghanistan going bad, do you think there will be another conflict in the Middle East? I'm not going to comment on it directly, but I would respond to your question with a question. Do all things not tend towards disorder? The whole point of order is to prevent disorder. There's an argument to be made that wherever the U.S. puts their foot down, wherever we enter, whatever region we try to infiltrate or assist, we're trying to help liberate the oil from the Middle East. Whatever we decide to do, there's an argument to be made that we shouldn't or should be there. It's never any conversation. It's circular. If we're there, we're going to help. We're going to prevent, the spread of communism and terrorist ideals and what have you. And then there's the other side of, all right, why are we even here? Why are we using our own resources? Why are we intervening? Why are we risking our own U.S. lives and what have you? Never in conversation. I'm not going to list my opinion out there because it's unnecessary. It's unnecessary. I will say this is that when you leave things unattended, things tend towards disorder. That's why kitchens have to be cleaned, because they don't clean themselves. That's why all this technology that we invented, such as vacuum cleaners, bleach, pine saw, mops, brooms, Roombas, is because we understand that nothing cleans itself up. Nothing just tends towards order. No, a human mind has to decide, I want this region to become in order. And that order is determined by one's worldview. Whose worldview? Those in authority. That's where we get the term society or the government. These are not one people. I posted on Twitter a while back. We talk about, or we blame society as if it's a real person. We blame the government as if it's a real person. No. Society and the government are both groups of individuals. That's why we have to vote on things. Majority tends to rule in those environments, whereas it's not one single person making a decision. It's a group of people, which, especially in the government sense, we vote for. So, to answer your question directly and kind of succinctly, Will there be another conflict in the Middle East? I don't know. But if you look at history, you will know. You will know. The answer is quite clear if you just study history. History tells you that nothing tends toward disorder, or nothing tends toward order. Disorder is the default nature of humans. Uh, we are greedy. We all want things. We all seek pleasure, and no one is seeking wisdom from a governmental standpoint. Wisdom is not what we consult. We usually look at history. We look at our own wants and needs and desires, and it's just how we make decisions in the government sense. So, I'll leave it at that. But yeah, very interesting question. It's something that I haven't really dug into too much as far as current events as relates to Afghanistan. But I think if we study history long enough, you understand what's taking place and what will take place. What else we got? Got a question. Morning. I'm coming in as air crew. If I don't get a top secret or maybe don't pass the flight physical and BMT, do I get to pick my new FSC from a list, or do they pick? It's going to be a mixture of both. Mixture of both. It's going to be the same process as if you're talking to a recruiter and they hand you a new list of qualified jobs as it relates to your ASVAB and your MEPS qualifications, and you'll just list the 5 to 10 jobs that you qualify for, and then they'll choose from that list for you based on the needs of the Air Force. And so, it's unfortunate. You know, some people get through a certain amount of the process and then they hit a brick wall and they have to start over. Yeah, that's the military. That's the military. So best of luck to you. Little Doggy plugs a term that I find issue with: predeterminism. I don't believe in that. Predeterminism presupposes that we don't have free will. And it's an interesting conversation whether or not are we predetermined to die a certain day, you know, or is that fate? Can we die due to foolishness? Is that date set in stone? Is it possible that I could do all the foolishness in the world but still escape the claws of death? Predeterminism, I don't know where that word fits best. It seems like a term of science, but also belongs in the conversation of philosophy because a lot of people believe in it. A lot of people just think no matter what I do, good or bad, my destiny is already set in stone. My legacy is already set in stone no matter what I choose to do. You know, was I born to do a certain thing a certain way and treat people a certain way based off my history? Do I have any control of my future? Do I have any control of the stock market, of my luck, of AMC going up or down? What do I have control of? And this is where I like the word accountability. You can only do your best. And of course, your best has limits. I can be the most learned, I'm just going to be passionate about learning and studying the stuff and the things, and I will never be an astronaut. There's certain limitations that it is what it is. I'm too old to be a pilot for the Air Force. So, and there might be exceptions, but the point being is that there's certain things that you just won't be able to accomplish in your lifetime. Are you predetermined to fail at a certain level? Probably. There are only 4 and some jobs in the NBA. I'm probably not going to get one of them. It's unfortunate. At 28 years old, the NBA is not hiring 28-year-old airmen, staff sergeants. No. So, predeterminism. I like the term because in a lot of ways it gives people hope. It gives people hope that, all right, maybe it's not me. Maybe I'm not destined to be a failure. Maybe I do have control. But a lot of people use it in place of taking accountability for their lives. And they say, well, no, this is going to happen because of this, and I have no control of it. I'm just a victim of circumstance. My history, the way I was raised, my parents, they all kind of set me up to be this bad person or this good person. No, you have more control than you think. I always ask very simple questions as relates to predeterminism, fate, free will, accountability, all these things. Do you look both ways before you cross the street? It's a simple question. Do you look both ways before you cross the street? Are you predetermined to get hit by that bus? Or did you see the bus coming and avoid getting hit by it? That's why we have terms like defensive driving, where you have control of the car. You're not just rolling through the world by chance. Gravity is not your master. You must submit to it in certain circumstances. But in a lot of cases, you're able to make adjustments. You know, that's where we get the word fun, is playing with things we shouldn't be playing with. A lot of people just see roller coasters as fun. I'm like, you're playing with the laws of physics. Inertia is sending you one way, but you're deciding to go a different way via these couple of plates of steel and screws, and you got 4 wheels sticking onto this thing, and you're gonna go fast. That's where fun comes from. So I don't believe in predeterminism. I believe that we all as humans have the ability to choose. And if we didn't, why in the world would we have a prison system? A prison system is evidence of, it directly correlates to the fact that that person chose to make a decision. And therefore, they must suffer the consequences of that decision. There's evidence all around you that whenever you see a homeless person, you understand something took place. It could have been in their control, could have been outside of their control, but people still suffer the consequences of their decisions or other people's decisions. And so, I definitely believe in free will. We should wake up every day realizing I have control of my situation. Whether I have all control or full control or some control, I have control. And at the bare minimum, you have control of what you decide to respond to. So keep that in mind. What else we got? Shout out everybody in the chat. Teddy R in the chat, see you. Christopher S has a question. What are the expectations of a National Guard soldier? Do they get the same benefits as an active duty member? I'm a medical professional and would like for the military to pay for my doctoral degree. So in specifics to, I would get in contact with a National Guard recruiter. They would have more insights than I would. Just as first of all, I'm Air Force. And so the benefits or like the lifestyle, the quality of life as a soldier itself, I don't know. It would be comparable to Air National Guard, I would guess. But will they pay for your degree? I don't know. Again, these are questions that you should take directly to a recruiter. The expectations are that you fall under the governor of your given state, and that is your boss. Typically, deployments are volunteer-based because, again, you fall under the governor, not the president. There are certain exceptions where you might fall under the president just during certain predicaments, but typically you fall under the governor. And that's usually the biggest difference between active duty and guard. Now, there's different positions that you can fall under, different codes, such as Title 10, Title 32, all these different situations where you fall under different circumstances. I'm not going to get into all that because I don't know. Take those questions directly to a recruiter. You'll definitely have a better response there. What else we got? All right. Good stuff this morning. Yeah, I just want to touch base with you all. I know it's been a minute since I've gone live. Life is interesting, just to say the least. Life is very interesting. I found myself on day 10 of the carnivore diet. And something I want to touch on briefly, and I'll wrap up the stream with this. Mental health is a hot button issue in the military. It's something a lot of people worry about once they get to the military is how will this new position, this new career path affect my mental health for the next 4 to 6 years, assuming I only do one contract. How will I deal with this? Let's say I enter a new career field and I don't like it, I'm struggling. And of course I have all these different benefits and resources and all these, programs and units I can go to for help. How do I deal with mental health? Day to day, 24-hour period, and I'm struggling. What do I do? I'm experiencing that as of right now, and that's why I'm on day 10 of the carnivore diet. One thing I've noticed in a positive manner is that your diet is directly correlates to how your body and your brain, your mind reacts to stimuli. One thing I keep coming back to is right before, probably my last stream, I mentioned how I was eating oatmeal for breakfast. You probably saw a couple posts on Instagram. I was eating oatmeal. I was eating rice. I was going back to my carbohydrate, bodybuilding type bro diet. And it works in the gym. Nowhere else. one thing I find myself in is, and I've mentioned on this channel before, is just my dealings with anxiety. My deals with anxiety. There comes a point where it becomes crippling and you realize, all right, I need to control, again, I need to control what I can control. What do I have control of? The study of the world is simply studying cause and effect. You study history, you're looking at previously what was cause and effect. This, the invasion of Poland led to what world war? Like you see these things, you understand this leads to this, leads to this. Science tells us if you do this, if you insert this stimuli, you get this output. You can make a hypothesis and then you go through the scientific method and realize if I start with this and I go to this, I go to this, I go to this, it's going to end up here based off this precedent, based off this scientific evidence. Well, I found myself studying the carnivore diet even so in depth that I realized that, and also just through a personal anecdote, that eating carnivore relieves my anxiety. Now, am I telling you to go out there and just really cut out all carbs, zero carb diet, and just that's how you live your life from now on? No, I'm saying that this is what I found to be true in my own life. And it can't be the placebo effect because I've already accounted for it. It's very hard to just get rid of something that's plaguing your life. A lot of us live by faith, and so we kind of expect certain results based off choosing certain decisions. Like, all right, if I smoke the cigarette, I get this outcome. It'll calm me down. Or if I drink alcohol, it'll calm me down because it's a natural sedative. That may be true, but again, you have to look at the side effects as well. You have to look at the long-term goals and how sustainable is this. Personally, in my own life, and I gotta go, but I found that the carnivore diet, it's highly lucrative. It's highly beneficial in the fact that I feel more calm. I'm losing weight. Obviously, I'm losing a lot of weight on it. It works. It works, especially as it relates to mental health. I feel more grounded. I feel more relaxed. My sleep has improved. Acne is improved. You start seeing these small little improvements that, again, it may not be the solution for everyone. Keto might be the solution for you, or just a low carb diet in general, limiting your carbs to maybe 150 grams a day or 100 grams a day. Your body doesn't operate off of calories. It operates off hormones. Your body will secrete hormones as it relates to what you're eating, what you're feeding it. Your car responds to sugar in a negative manner. Do not put sugar in my tank. Put gasoline. Even if you put diesel in there, some cars will not function because it's not built for diesel. So understanding what your body is built for and understanding that, if you go back far in history enough, you realize, all right, what were we eating back then? Could we really survive off 1,000 grams of blueberries? Or did we just shoot a deer and break bread? I don't know. But it's just something I found that works for me as it relates to my goals and my daily life and what I need for me to be functional and to remain in a certain, flatline mental health. It works. And of course, I'll be covering more as I get deeper and deeper into the diet. It's only day 10. But I've already seen positive results from it. And it's just an update, something to think about, I don't think it's for everyone. It does take some commitment to say no to all carbs, but it's something that I've made a commitment to. And so we'll see how it goes. I'll keep you guys updated. Super chat by Hiram. Let's see what we got real quick. No, the Second World War actually started 4 years before Germany invaded Poland and violent confrontation in Tavern. Interesting. Thanks for everybody who joined the chat this morning. Appreciate all the super chats. Appreciate everybody joining me this morning. We'll try to be more frequent with these. Yeah, it's different. I find myself in a place of instability, what have you, but we keep it moving. So I'll see y'all next stream. Appreciate y'all joining me. Say it was good to your boy.